You mean to tell me that entire fucking time my mic was muted? Carter just texted me, goes, your mic isn't working. Fan-fucking-tastic. All right, well, let's just start all that shit over again. Welcome. Hold on. Let's just do this. Jesus Christ, you'd think I host a podcast consistently and I would know if my mic is working or not. But you know what? Normally I have Matthew right next to me and he tells me if I'm an idiot and I didn't press unmute. But welcome back to another season of VFL football, our 5th season. We made it. Okay, kind of. Right? Like we haven't even made it to draft day, let alone the first Thursday and the first Sunday of the season. But you know what? Progress is occurring. We're progressing towards the season beginning. Seems like just yesterday I was lifting that magical trophy that doesn't exist quite yet up into the air after my 3rd championship, having defeated Voice of God and Brian Carter. And now here we are. It's August and it's almost go time. Can't wait for this season. It's going to be something that is going to be unique, right? It's the first season we're returning every owner. Now, granted, Smash and Flash lost Brian Lizette, but that was a co-owned team, our only co-owned team. So we lost one of those owners, and we have back Tim DeLaga, who's going to be no Flash, just Smash. But every owner, every team is a team that's carrying over a roster that they constructed last season. And that's what's going to make this fun. And I get it. You guys can all do the same thing, right? You can all just go on to NFL.com, go to the fantasy site, and look at the keepers. But what is the fucking fun of that? There's no cool graphics, nothing like that. See how you guys fucking... Carter saying he wishes the mic was still off because I'm talking a little shit. Champs here. Champs are looking at property of Lead Farms. I even make my own gear. A few things have changed since this time last season. I have a new job in a new industry, the government. So I'm going to have some time to write the articles like I used to once upon a time. Now, granted, I still am the managing editor of Bright Side of the Sun, covering the Phoenix Suns, credentialed now, mind you. So I do spend a lot of time writing for the Suns. But I will still take the time to write for you guys. But without further ado, let's get into the reason that nobody's actually watching right now, and that is the fact that we have keepers to get to. So let's just go ahead and pull up the draft order. As you can see, you have, over here, all the teams and their draft order. And what we're going to do is we're going to reveal the keepers, 12, the champs, to 1, the chumps. And this is an opportunity for you to start doing your planning. Start getting into that mode of roster construction. And you've already done that. That's the fun thing about this league, right? You already had to define 2 keepers. So you already have a head start essentially on your first 2 rounds of the season by going, okay, am I going quarterback? Am I going wide receiver, running back? Am I keeping 2 running backs? No team kept 2 wide receivers, although one of the teams could have, and I'm surprised they didn't, and we'll get into that momentarily. But it's time to start going through these and letting you know who is keeping who. And we'll start off with the defending champion, yours truly. The Lead Farmers are going to be keeping Josh Allen and Jahmyr Gibbs. So here's something funny about that. One, it's the first time, I think since this league started that I'm not keeping 2 quarterbacks. Justin Herbert was my other quarterback, but with Jahmyr Gibbs, I couldn't pass up the opportunity to have a running back who I feel is going to be impactful for the next couple of years. And I will say this is a little shit-talking time, and Tim from No Smash Just Flash might remember this. Last season, I offered Jahmyr Gibbs to them back when they were Smash and Flash for Tony Pollard at the time. I knew that Brian, who was the other owner of Smash and Flash, was a Lions fan. I thought Tony Pollard was going to have a much better season. This was about week 3. Tim said, yes, let's do the trade. And Brian's like, nope, not going to do it. I'm like, dude, this guy could be a keeper for you. He's like, nope. I'm like, all right, dude. Que sera. Go forth and conquer, man. Have a great season. No hard feelings. And Jahmyr Gibbs went off for me. Tony Pollard didn't do shit for them. And look where I ended up. And look where he ended up. So fuck you, Brian. I know you're not in the league anymore, but that's that story. All right, let's see who second place last season was Brian Carter and Voice of God. He will be keeping Christian McCaffrey and Amon-Ra St. Brown. So essentially the number 1 overall pick in all drafts, which is Christian McCaffrey, although he does have a little bit of a calf injury right now, he's still Christian McCaffrey, and Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's typically a top 6 pick in any other redraft. So 2 solid keepers, and you can see why he ended up being in the second place team this last season. 2 solid guys to choose from. All right, now we're going to come up to the team that has I think the second highest winning percentage of all teams in the history of the VFL, and has yet to win a championship, and that's Anthony Pauletto and Thwomp. And he is our first team that's actually going to hold on to 2 quarterbacks this season. He's got Jalen Hurts and the tush push, the only guy I know who probably likes the tush push, and CJ Stroud, who came on last season, obviously as a rookie out of Ohio State for the Houston Texans, holding on to 2 quarterbacks there. So he will definitely be taking a running back or wide receiver when that first pick comes his way, or maybe he'll take another quarterback. Maybe he's like, I'm going to have all of the quarterbacks. Kind of like Dicka's Bastards, who's up next, who's done that in the past, tried to hoard every quarterback possible, likes to fill up that reserve spot as much as possible for no reason other than he thinks it's benefiting him. And he will be keeping A.J. Brown and Derrick Henry. King Henry is moving to the Baltimore Ravens. I think this is a great keeper for Pazik there over in the Dicka's Bastards realm. And I also, for the first time ever, I changed his little helmet. See, it's no longer Bears blue, it's Bears orange. So enjoy that. Wicked Weasel Lou Ayres' team has the 8th overall pick, and he will be keeping Lamar Jackson and Breece Hall. So back-to-back Ravens there, Henry and Jackson, and then Breece Hall, who despite the Jets being a slog of a team last season, just produced fantasy points over and over again, knowing that you're going to have Aaron Rodgers back and potentially a very solid offense. I mean, that guy's just electric and is typically a top 3 pick in most redrafts. So Lou's going to be holding on to him at numero 7. All right, Ron Stetz is up, your mother's mother, with the 7th overall pick, and he's going to be keeping Saquon Barkley, who's made the move over to Philadelphia, and Jared Goff, who was reborn in Detroit and had an unbelievable season last year. So the only question I got is, Ron, are you gonna be keeping that team name, or is your mother's mother it, or are you gonna change it again? Don't know. We'll see. Shannon is up next, the only female left in the league. Big Cowboys fan, no surprise here. Both CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott, that stack is staying with Shannon. CeeDee's nuts is going to be holding on to CeeDee Lamb. Let's just hope that he holds on to a contract because he is yet to play. And I just watched an interview with Jerry Jones on the NFL Network, and that guy don't know. He's just give him a microphone, starts talking, and rambles on. The guy he could be a politician. Matthew is up next at the 5th overall pick. His 2 keepers this season, another guy who's keeping dual quarterbacks. That is Patrick Mahomes and Tua Tagovailoa. So obviously you have Patrick Mahomes, one of the most electric players in the league, and then Tua, who just racked up all of the points last season with that electric offense over there in Miami. So you would think that whoever has Tyreek Hill is going to be holding on to him, but that's not the case. Next up, Tupa Trupas, Greg Esposito's team, who had, God, who was on this team? Tyreek Hill was on this team. Anthony Richardson was on this team. And he chose to keep Justin Jefferson and James Conner. There's your first shocker of the keepers, is the James Conner keeper, because you could get him in the 3rd round, I feel, after we all draft. But instead of holding on to Justin Jefferson and Tyreek Hill, like last season, it's Justin Jefferson and James Conner for the Tupa Trupas. So the teams below me, the full shitters, No Smash, Just Flash, and the Reno Raiders are all going to have a shot at those guys who are going to be coming off that team. And it's crazy looking at Greg's team, Espo's team last season, because the talent was all there, just a ton of injuries. And that's just kind of the way it goes some seasons. Well, you know this. I know this. That's the way it goes. Next up, changing his name, he's now the Full Shitters, is my brother Paul, who apparently is in the chat and is expressing his love for men. He is going to be keeping Devontae Adams and Trevor Lawrence. 2 shitty guys. Way to go, Paul. Devontae Adams back into the career, but a solid fantasy contributor if he ever gets thrown the ball by a Gardner Minshew. And Trevor Lawrence, sunshine from Remember the Titans. No Smash, Just Flash as the 2nd overall pick, and he will be keeping Puka Nacua and Brock Purdy. This isn't something I'm overly surprised with. Tim is a Niners fan, and Puka Nacua just burst onto the scene last year. Smash and Flash got him. While he was busy picking him up, I picked up Kyron Williams. I won the championship. You finished in second. Suck it. And last but not least, Reno Raiders. Frank Martinez, number one pick, got a shitty hand last year. One, the roster he got wasn't the best, and two, he had the whole Jonathan Taylor situation, which I know because I had to keep him in 2 other leagues, and that really hurt my team. But this season, he will be keeping Jonathan Taylor again because he's not holding out and not being a baby about it, and also keeping Alvin Kamara. Super Kamara is off the board. So he's keeping both running backs, knowing that there's going to be some quality quarterbacks, some quality wide receivers sitting there. So took his gamble there. And there you go. There's the picks for everybody in the draft that's going to be going on next week. Again, it's going to be the first time that we do a live draft. So for those of you who can make it up there at Blue Agave on Scottsdale Road and the 101, going to be a great time. John Webb, one of my good buddies, runs the place, and already assured us we'll have a nice setup there to draft away and have a good time. You got a week now. All right, you have a week to start preparing and putting your strategy in place, knowing that it doesn't fucking matter. Because the moment you think you know something, somebody in this league does something weird. The moment you think you know something, Espo keeps fucking James Conner. You just never know in this league. That's what makes it fun. So, again, thanks for hanging out. Sorry my mic wasn't muted for the first 2 minutes of me talking. You guys missed some quality bullshit there, but that's just the way it goes. This is where I miss Matthew. I miss having my co-host being like, "Hey, jackass, you're muted." If you're bored today, tune in at 8 o'clock as Matthew and I are hosting another edition of the Suns Jam Session podcast. But on that note, we'll see you at Blue Agave if you can. And if not, we'll see you online, and good luck. Thanks for hanging out, man. Thanks for being a part of this league. I truly, truly enjoy and appreciate everyone who's part of this. And it looks like the votes are come out to a yes. League fees this year will be $112.50. We will use that $150 to get the trophy, and league fees will be as per usual, right? $800 to the winner, $400 second place, third place gets their money back. 831 because $1,200 in the kitty. So again, that's all I got. Have a good night, and